Our dormitory has all been reborn. My roommate Yu Shuang, who graduated 4 years ago, is getting married and has asked us to be her bridesmaids. We have to pay for our own travel, accommodation, and outfits, with no red envelopes. The day before, I arrived at her hometown at 6 in the morning to help her set up her new house. The next evening, after the wedding, I walked back from the countryside by myself. Out of sisterly affection, the three of us still brought cash gifts to be the fools. Enduring the humiliation of rural wedding customs, in the end, she just said, "These are my 3 maids. The groom is my ex-boyfriend from college." At the wedding, I listened to their 8-year love story, with embarrassing photos of the entire dormitory used to highlight the bride's elegance. We finally couldn't help but smash the big screen. That night, I woke up in the university dormitory. And Yu Shuang was flaunting the red kidney being given to her by her admirer. Among the 4 people in the dormitory, 3 have been reborn. 01. I've said I don't lack cosmetics, but he insists on giving them to me. At such an ambiguous time on Christmas Eve, do you think he has feelings for me? Yu Shuang was taking pictures with the red kidney bean, intentionally or unintentionally showing off. But she didn't notice that my gaze towards her had changed. No one asked, and she said to herself, "This senior said his girlfriend isn't as pretty as me and doesn't have a better figure. Is he hinting at something? He asked me out tonight, but I'm not interested." At the same time, my phone rang. My boyfriend sent a selfie from the dormitory, followed by a red envelope of 5.2. Appendix. "Sorry, my dear wife, I can't accompany you on Christmas Eve, because I'm busy with assignments. Once I earn money from my job, I'll buy you a gift." In the corner of the picture, there is an unsealed red kidney bean packaging box. The cheap smell makes me nauseous. No wonder he has been in a relationship with Yu Shuang for 8 years. It turns out he has already hooked up with someone now. Yu Shuang is wearing my Gucci coat and carrying my Chanel bag, while spraying Jo Malone and saying, "Tian Tian, didn't your boyfriend make a date? I really envy you. I went out with someone a month ago for Christmas, and those guys act like they've never seen a rich girl before. I'm going to the library tonight. Please drop off my clothes and bag. I need to use them." Yu Shuang was momentarily stunned. "I forgot to tell you, my family adds disinfectant to expired cosmetics to avoid misuse. Which foundation and perfume did you just use? Does your face hurt?" Yu Shuang's expression changed suddenly, and she hurriedly wiped her face and removed her makeup, angrily saying, "Why didn't you tell me earlier? Are you trying to harm me on purpose?" I jumped off the bed and looked at her coldly. "Did you ask me before you borrowed it? Just because I didn't say anything before doesn't mean I didn't know. Why are you suddenly so fierce? It's not like there's a lot of money." Yu Shuang shot me a defiant glance, put on her mask, and went out. "Then you're not wearing this dress, right? I'm running late, I'm off to a date." The dress she was wearing was also a brand I bought, a summer spaghetti strap. Yu Shuang took her coat, but deliberately didn't wear it, walking through the campus in December with her shoulders exposed, her figure curvy, and her long, curly hair swaying, making the boys' eyes nearly pop out. The intention couldn't be more obvious. I smiled and remotely locked my Porsche. Sure enough, in less than half an hour, Yu Shuang burst into the dormitory, wrapped in a down jacket, kicking the door open in a fit of anger. Her lips were frozen purple. What a poor loser. He actually wants to take me on the bus, taking the bus to Huaihai Road for dinner. Is he crazy? At the same time, my boyfriend sent me 5 WeChat messages asking, why can't the Porsche start? I haven't replied yet, but his video call has already come through. Yu Shuang was startled by the sound of the video, looked at me, and was about to speak when I answered the video right in front of her. "Dai Xiaotian, what do you mean? Why did you lock the Porsche?" 02. Upon hearing my boyfriend's voice, Yu Shuang quickly averted her gaze. Yet there was no sign of guilt or panic. Oh, so the two of them were deliberately putting a green hat on me. I've been driving the car for so long, how come? Whose car is that, bro? I'm in a bad mood, can't I lock it? Why are you driving when you're busy with assignments in the dorm? My tone was even more aggressive than his, leaving him stunned by my question. My boyfriend stammered, I was just asking. Why are you so anxious? I saw Yuxuang angrily taking off her skirt on the lower bunk, laughing. Could it be that you're driving my car to date someone else, showing off? Let me tell you something interesting. I also heard that someone is dating while wearing a friend's clothes, carrying a friend's bag, and even using 3-ply toilet paper from a friend. It seems like I'm not here to study, but to engage in targeted poverty alleviation. The boyfriend's face turned red from holding back, and he abruptly hung up the video call. Yuxuang immediately said, Who are you being sarcastic about, Dai Xiaotian? I washed my clothes and only wore yours. Do I have to keep mentioning the few pieces of paper I used from you? I don't owe you anything, do I? You found a poor boyfriend and are taking it out on your roommate. I haven't offended anyone, have I? At that moment, Li Xian pushed the door open and returned from the library. Just as she set down the filled thermos, Yu Shuang leaned over with a pitiful expression, Xian, help me judge this. Dai Xiaotian is arguing with me over a few pieces of paper. Aren't we supposed to be good sisters? Li Xian, with a blank expression, suddenly said, Well, that's not necessarily the case. Li Xian has also undergone a rebirth. After attending the wedding, Yu Shuang was filled with resentment. Because there is a photo from the wedding that was publicly shared, in which she is only wearing underwear. What's wrong with all of you today? You're all acting so strangely. Yu Shuang awkwardly sat down on the chair, trying to change the topic. We're usually good sisters, but today it's like you all took the wrong medicine. Forget it. I won't hold it against you. Xian Yuan, can you pour me a cup of hot water? I almost froze to death today. Li Xian didn't even look at her and slammed the thermos shut. If you want hot water, go get it yourself. We're not your maids. Yu Shuang was taken aback for a moment, and her eyes turned red with grievance as she shrank back onto her bed, crying. I didn't offend any of you, did I? Sister, are you still stuck in your princess syndrome? In the past, you treated us like fools. If we had a chance to do it all over again, would we still indulge you? Li Xian glanced at me and asked if I wanted to take a shower, completely ignoring Yu Shuang. When the two of us returned from showering, Yu Shuang was sitting on the bed, video chatting with someone, looking cheerful. Yes, Xingju, I miss you a lot. Of course I'm in the dormitory. There are only 3 of us here, and 1 girl went home for the weekend. What's so interesting about the girls' dormitory? It's just a few beds and tables. I'll take a picture for you. As she said this, Yu Shuang propped herself up, switched to the rear camera, and took pictures of the dormitory without any restraint. I immediately wrapped my clothes tighter and warned her, there are people changing clothes in the dormitory, don't take pictures. Yu Shuang, wearing headphones, seemed not to hear and giggled as she introduced the place to the man. Li Xian suddenly got angry, rushed over, hung up Yu Shuang's video call, and slapped her hard. Can't you understand? There are people changing clothes in the dormitory, and there are underwear hanging out. Who are you taking pictures for? Yu Shuang screamed like she was on fire. Xingju Ji is my cousin. What's wrong with taking pictures for him? As if anyone would want to take pictures of you. Even if you took off all your clothes, no one would want to see, right? 03. Li Xian suddenly fell silent. She is from the north. Anne is 1.70 meters, and less than 130 pounds considered fat. Her eyes, filled with hatred, stared fiercely at Yu Shuang, her anger reaching a boiling point. You are truly disgusting. She was strong, kicking Yu Shuang down onto the bed, rudely snatching her phone away, and pressing it against her fingers to unlock it. What are you doing? What do you want with my phone? Li Xian signaled to me with her eyes, and I opened Yu Shuang's album with a serious expression. After flipping through a few pictures, I indeed found problematic photos. My underwear hanging out to dry, Su Mo changing clothes, and Li Xian, and then a photo of Li Xian, completely naked while changing clothes. When I reached this photo, I handed the phone to Li Xian, and her eyes instantly turned red. This was just a slip of my hand. I don't even know when it was taken. Yu Shuang stammered for a moment, then turned her face away and stubbornly said, "What do my phone photos have to do with you? Stop invading my privacy, do you know that's illegal?" In the next second, she let out a scream like a slaughtered pig as Li Xian tore her clothes in half. "Are you crazy, you fat pig, you?" Li Xian stuffed her mouth with torn clothes, stripped her bare, and threw her on the bed. The door was wide open, the lights were bright, and Yu Shuang was so scared that her face turned pale, curling up on the bed and trembling. "I warn you, I've deleted everything on your phone. If you dare to take random photos again, do you believe I'll strip you and throw you at the entrance of the teaching building?" Yu Shuang was so scared that tears and mucus flowed together, desperately nodding her head. Only then did Li Xian let her go, turning around to get a basin to wash clothes. After resting on the bed for a while, Yu Shuang suddenly put on new clothes quickly and ran out the door with her phone. "Are you looking for the instructor?" "That's fine, but Li Xian is stubborn. I guess she will pursue it to the end. What will happen if it escalates?" Yu Shuang suddenly stopped at the door, her fists clenched tightly, her bloodshot eyes streaming with tears. I walked over with a cold smile, pretending to persuade her, "All right, it's not good for anyone if this escalates, and besides, we're all good sisters in the same dormitory, right?" Yu Shuang looked at me with tears in her eyes, a flash of shrewd calculation passing through her gaze, and quickly said with grievance, "Of course we are good sisters. I just wanted to record all the little moments we have together, to keep a memento after graduation. How could Li Xian treat me like this? What a mouth that shifts concepts. The green tea flavor is too strong, no wonder I was deceived by her in the past. She probably has been working 3 jobs recently and is too tired, feeling down. We are all good sisters. So just let it go." Yu Shuang wiped her tears and pretended to hold my hand. "You're right, how can good sisters fuss over these small matters? Xian Xian has a bad temper, because she's from the countryside, while I'm a well-mannered city girl. I can be more tolerant." That night, Yu Shuang sent several long messages to the 4th roommate, Su Yumor, summarizing, "I have been excluded and bullied in the dormitory, and Li Xian has been bullying me. If you are willing to speak up for me, let's go find the instructor, and have the school punish Li Xian. I will not let her off the hook. Do you think Dai Xiaotian is sincere to you? She is so rich, how could she look up to you? Do you think Li Xian is sincere to you? She is jealous that you are a local from Shanghai, and has cursed you behind your back. You only have me as your true friend left, we should stick together for warmth." Su Yuming immediately forwarded it to me with only 3 words. "Is she sick?" Su Yuming is also reborn. She is lucky not to have had her underwear photos taken, but at the wedding, Yu Shuang shamelessly mocked her. What does it matter to have a local Shanghai household registration? Her parents are still dead. I'm happier with my rural household registration. 04. Su Yuming's parents died in a car accident after she graduated from university. Because of this sentence, she was so angry that she was the first to throw something at the big screen. That late night, the 3 of us carefully reflected in the WeChat group on why we were so easily manipulated by Yu Shuang in our past lives. We are all staying in the dormitory for the first time, and we feel that we should be a bit more accommodating and tolerant. After living together for 4 years, it felt like I gained 3 more family members. My family loves to act like princesses, enjoys taking advantage of small things, and speaks very directly. She has her flaws. And we definitely have ours, we just tolerate each other. Later, after graduation, Yu Shuang cried and said she couldn't find a bridesmaid, and we ended up being the scapegoats. Unexpectedly, she crossed everyone's boundaries at the wedding, revealing her true character. So, if we could do it all over again, the 3 of us wouldn't let her off the hook. The next day, in class, Yu Shuang stuck close to Su Yumor, sitting together in the last row, using a book to chat intimately. The little thoughts were all too obvious. During class, my boyfriend sent a message asking why he couldn't log into my QQ account. The QQ account is linked to my Honor of Kings account. I play in the WeChat region and don't use QQ, but I have unlocked all the skins, and my QQ account has always been public to my boyfriend. After my rebirth, I changed all my passwords. I instinctively turned to look at Yu Shuang, and sure enough, she was holding her phone horizontally, waiting for someone on the Honor of Kings interface. I pulled out my QQ number, logged into Honor of Kings with QQ, and received an invitation from Don't Bully Little Shuang Duck in a second. Yu Shuang typed in the team, "I just need one more star, hurry up and take me to the king, using my brother's skin is so nice." She even used a couple's avatar with my account. It's really disgusting. Before the rebirth, both of them danced in front of me, and I didn't even notice. I went in and chose a jungler, took Yu Shuang's lane, stole her kills, and sold her out, which made her so angry that she threw her phone several times. But I helped her win. Yu Shuang excitedly ran to the bathroom to voice chat, sweetly saying, "Thank you, brother, for taking me to the king." Before she finished speaking, I suddenly pulled open the stall door and shoved the results screen in front of her face. Isn't it nice to lick someone else's boyfriend in the bathroom? That loser is better than me. Can he carry you to the top with a 120 score? Or can he drive a Porsche to Huaihai Road? You love picking up trash so much. How about I move the trash can to your bed and you can dig through it day and night? You two are dating and still using my money. Am I your dad? Do I also have to support you until you get married and he finds a wife? Yu Shuang's face turned bright red as she awkwardly stood in the cubicle, her left foot over her right, mumbling softly, "Who are you talking about? I don't understand. It's just a game with your boyfriend, are you jealous?" Li Xian happened to push the door open, ran to the entrance with a thud, and asked me with wide eyes, "What's going on?" I heard she's been messing around and being a mistress. In the next second, Li Xian was ready to roll up her sleeves and fight, scaring Yu Shuang to jump 3 feet high. And she actually squeezed out from under Li Xian's arm and ran away. Su Yumor was holding Yu Shuang's bag, walking by from outside, and gave us a reassuring look. "What's wrong, Shuang Shuang, why are you running?" Su Yumor caught up and pretended to care about Yu Shuang, and the two walked away. People who just talk big really hit the bottom line. I guess Yu Shuang sticking to Su Yumor will end up worse. At this moment, my boyfriend's call came through, and Li Xian saw I wasn't answering, bluntly asked, "Do you want me to help you curse that scumbag to death? How could I let him die right now? Still need to keep it to torment him well." Li Xian was applying Vaseline by the sink while advising me, "Anyway, don't get deceived again. I remember you broke up in your senior year, so break up earlier this time." She took a part-time job washing dishes in the back kitchen, and her hands were frozen red and cracked. Sometimes she couldn't even hold a pen to write. Her family is from a severely impoverished county, and she wants to take advantage of social media to make money in her second life. During those years, individual content creators had many incentives for creation, and both the pink platform and the black platform were just emerging. So Li Xian worked 3 jobs, just to buy a DJI to shoot videos. I asked her if she needed help, and she confidently said no. She believed that if she started over, she would definitely make money, and this time, she didn't even want to apply for the poverty student grant. Leave it for more students in need. Unexpectedly, on the day the poverty student application notification came down, as soon as someone mentioned Li Xian, Yu Shuang posted 4 or 5 selfies in the WeChat group, with the caption, "I met a rich person. This must be the latest model from DJI, so awesome. My roommate's new DJI drone. It turns out she usually saves money for such an expensive hobby. She's so amazing. Touching Xian Xian, my roommate secretly heart. Although she quickly retracted it, quite a few people saw it. She sent a tongue-out emoji and pretentiously said it was sent by mistake. Then she posted it again in her moments. I guess Li Xian is working and didn't check her phone. Otherwise, she would have been so angry that she would have torn her apart through the internet cable. In the next second, a private message from class monitor Su Yumor popped up. Yu Shuang actually applied for financial aid for poor students and is already preparing the materials. What do you think? Should we arrange something for her? 05. Yu Shuang is definitely not a poor student. She maintains the persona of a rich girl from Shanghai, even using the latest model of a smartphone, and her moments are all about flaunting wealth. In this application for financial aid, she hid all her social media accounts early on and deliberately went to the cafeteria every day to eat a vegetarian lunchbox, not knowing who she was pretending for. The class monitor, Su Yuming, handled the materials she submitted, which stated that her family was destitute, both parents were unemployed and paralyzed, and they were in debt to the point of contemplating suicide. But we attended a wedding in her hometown, where her parents were liquor distributors, the richest in the village, and relatives filled the entire street to celebrate the wedding. Students who are truly in need cannot get this money, yet a fraud like her is allowed to apply for it. Su Yuming and I went to find the class supervisor. So after that class meeting ended, the class supervisor closed the door and took out a box to place on the podium. I would like to ask everyone to stay for a few minutes. We are a caring class, let's help our classmate in need. Yu Shuang. Yu Shuang was momentarily stunned, not knowing what drama awaited her. I took out 100 yuan and dropped it into the box on the podium. I am Yu Shuang's roommate. I'm afraid she might be bearing her troubles alone, so I spoke up for her. It seems that something serious has happened in her family recently. She is living frugally every day, completely different from her former self. The class monitor sighed deeply and said, Yu Shuang, you mustn't let pride get in the way, and don't do anything foolish. Our classmates will help you get through this tough time. Yu Shuang suddenly stood up, her mouth agape as if she wanted to say something but couldn't. Her angry gaze seemed to want to burn 2 holes into me. Su Yuming covered her mouth in surprise. Yu Shuang, your family has encountered such a big issue. No wonder you cleared all your social media platforms. I heard you are even selling your clothes and bags at a low price. Oh my. Is there anything I can do to help you? No, it's not that serious. I don't lack money. Yu Shuang was sweating profusely, gripping her phone tightly, unsure of how to explain. If you don't lack money, then why are you applying for financial aid? Don't force yourself. I took out another 100 yuan and put it into the box. Classmates, I think fundraising might hurt Yu Shuang's self-esteem. She might feel that we pity her, but that's not it. We genuinely want to help her. This 200 yuan is the money I used to buy Yu Shuang's clothes. Please support Yu Shuang's business and help her sell her clothes and cosmetics. Can we show some love? In the midst of the uproar, many classmates followed suit and put money into the box, causing Yu Shuang to jump anxiously, and she eventually fell into a chair, wiping her tears. The class monitor patted her shoulder to comfort her, but she cried out in accusation, Teacher, please don't do this, it's so embarrassing. Why do you have to make my situation public? How am I supposed to get along with everyone in the future? Su Yuming held her hand and said earnestly, I think the class monitor is right. I'm also afraid you might do something foolish. Just a week ago, you were wearing Gucci, carrying Chanel, and riding in a Porsche, worth over 100,000 in total. But recently, you can only afford to eat 4 yuan worth of vegetarian dishes. Who can handle such a disparity? I need to help you. You are my best sister. Yu Shuang gripped Su Yuming's hand tightly, her nails almost digging into the flesh, and through gritted teeth, she squeezed out 5 words, I really thank you. Su Yuming broke into a smile, shook her head, and said, Silly, who told you to be my good sister? When they returned to the dormitory, Yu Shuang, who came from a poor rural background, suddenly faced a crisis as her parents lost their jobs and became paralyzed, leaving the family heavily in debt. The matter of her applying for assistance was brought up again and exaggerated by others. It was even rumored that she almost jumped off a building. So the dormitory manager took the lead, and enthusiastic classmates lined up outside our dormitory to donate and support Yu Shuang's business. High heels, dresses, small handbags, cosmetics, everything that could be sold was sold at a low price. Many luxury brands were identified as fakes, and she had to return the money with a red face, completely shattering her image as a rich and beautiful girl. In the end, she sat in front of the emptied wardrobe, wiping her tears in confusion, unable to express her suffering. "Oh. I'm back late and couldn't take care of your business." Li Xian put her hands on her hips and threw 10 yuan on Yu Shuang's desk. "I work hard every day to make money and voluntarily gave up my poverty student quota to make room for more students in need. It wasn't meant for some fraudsters. However, if some people are competing to be beggars, I could give her $10 to pity her. After all, she's begging." Yu Shuang suddenly looked up at her, her eyes flashing with an uncontrollable rage, and she actually screamed and lunged at Li Xian. "You don't need to say anything, you fat woman. Even if I'm poor, I'm still richer than your family." Everything happened too quickly. Several scratches appeared on Li Xian's neck in an instant. She used one hand to pull Yu Shuang away, but Yu Shuang couldn't stand steadily and hit her head hard against the railing, stunned. That night, Yu Shuang was carried into the school hospital, crying and demanding an explanation from the school leaders. The leaders had no choice but to contact both families to resolve the issue. But Li Xian's father is disabled, and her mother needs dialysis every week, which takes at least 4 or 5 days to get here from the countryside. My parents are doing charity somewhere in Africa and can't come back. Only Su Yumo's parents are local, so we discussed it and decided to ask Su Yumo's parents for help. I'll pay, and shall call her parents. They must help Li Xian seek justice. 06. In the year we started school, parents were not allowed to drop off their children, so Yu Shuang did not know Su Yumo's parents. To save face, I drove my friend's Maybach to school. However, it seems that Yu Shuang's parents did not recognize this luxury car, which has only a few units in Shanghai. They took the initiative to meet at the Western restaurant in the school and invited everyone from the dormitory. Yu Shuang's mother started off with a sarcastic tone, "You too must be from the countryside. This meal is on our family, so feel free to order whatever you haven't tried before." Speaking of which, a child's upbringing really affects their growth. Our Yu Shuang has been raised by me to be honest and trustworthy, gentle and understanding, different from other children. After hearing this, I clenched my fists. Li Xian sarcastically said, "Sneaking a photo of a roommate changing clothes, falsifying documents to obtain financial aid for poor students, and fighting in the dormitory to harm classmates. She is indeed different from others." Yu Shuang's expression changed instantly, and she stood up angrily, saying, "Li Xian, don't talk nonsense. I've explained everything clearly. For illegal matters, you can explain it to the police and see if it helps." Yu Shuang's father had a stern face and suddenly lowered his voice to threaten, "Don't be ungrateful. In Shanghai, I have 1,000 ways to make your daughter unable to survive. If you don't apologize, do you still want to continue your studies?" After finishing his words, he suddenly stood up, grabbed the red wine on the table, and without even looking, threw it at the Maybach, the crisp sound startling everyone. My little heart trembled along with it. That was the Maybach I borrowed. Do you see? The red wine you can't even afford to drink. I can smash as much as I want. What status does your family have to dare bully my daughter? Driving a no-name car, and you want to show off. If I smash your car today, how much repair fee do you dare to shout out? Su Yuming's parents were stunned with anger. Both of them were teachers, and had never seen such low-quality parents. In the end, they could only scold, "I've never seen such a rogue." Li Xian stood up with a smile, "Isn't uncle unemployed and paralyzed? How can he stand up to smash a car? I admire uncle's boldness smashing a luxury car worth tens of millions, just like that shows he has a big family business." I was so angry that my hair almost stood on end, and I called the police without hesitation. At first, Yu Shuang's parents didn't believe it, until the police arrived, and the two of them suddenly looked like their souls had been sucked out, their legs went weak. As for Yu Shuang, she had already shrunk in her chair with a pale face, and when the police arrived, her first words were, "The car was smashed by my dad, not me." Li Xian secretly took out her phone, that she had hidden in a flower pot to record. Worried that their family had a tradition of slandering others, Li Xian had prepared to film in advance. She quietly blurred the person's face and uploaded it to a black video software. Within a few hours, the views exploded, with millions of netizens online tracking down the arrogant Shanghai family, and reporters from 4 or 5 TV stations were eager to contact Yu Shuang, including one from the People's Daily. The kind with a blue V certification. Yu's father was at the police station, shamelessly playing the victim. Who knows what kind of car that is? I'm not paying for it. That girl harmed my daughter first, I was just acting in self-defense. After hearing this, Li Xian silently handed her phone to the police. This matter is too big, let's look at the evidence directly. That day, it wasn't even midnight yet, and Yu Shuang's whole family had already been stripped down to their underwear. The school's phone is about to be overwhelmed with calls. As enthusiastic netizens are exposing her for fraudulently obtaining financial aid for impoverished students, and they are also demanding a thorough investigation into the matter of secretly filming her roommates. Due to being criticized by the People's Daily, Yu Shuang's family became well known in the village. It is said that she wanted to sneak back to her hometown to avoid the situation, but before she could even set off, she was reported by relatives and friends. Under pressure from public opinion, Yu Shuang voluntarily admitted to slandering Li Xian, and several disciplinary notices circulated on the school's official website for a week. Having lost so much face, she was scolded while walking around the school, and eventually took leave to hide back at home. It is said that her parents sold their house in their hometown to cover the car repair costs. The day after Yu Shuang returned home, my boyfriend suddenly sent me 4 or 5 text messages. He asked me if my roommate had someone who drives a Maybach. Who is it? Is he single? His buddy wants to get to know him. I scoffed. I had been busy dealing with Yu Shuang these days, and had forgotten about this scumbag. How dare he still bark like a dog? I replied to him, transfer me 20,000, and I'll provide the contact information of my Maybach roommate. 07. I met my boyfriend, Imagery, at the welcome party. He is a sophomore, the head of the sports and arts department, and quite popular among the girls. At that time, as a child, I was vain seeing others in relationships. I felt I needed one too, so I contacted him. My generous spending made him look good among his friends, and his popularity gave me face among mine, so we made our relationship public. Later, when I was busy preparing to go abroad in my senior year, he kept messaging me about starting a business and asking for my investment. I found it annoying and ended up scolding him away. Little did I expect that during our 4-year relationship, he and Yu Shuang treated me as a cash cow. Is 6,000 okay? We're all students, where would we get that much money? Imagery asked me. I smiled as soon as he opened his mouth. I knew what he was thinking. Hey buddy, I think he just wants to flatter the rich woman again. I replied to him, is the contact information for Maybach that valuable? If you don't show some interest, do you think he would notice you, buddy? After sending that, I returned to my dorm and took out my calculator to calculate how much I had spent during our relationship this semester. After finishing the calculations, his transfer also came through. It really is 6,000. His family isn't wealthy, he just wants to get to know the Maybach girl. I put down my phone and asked Su Yuming. Is that 40-year-old widow Wang downstairs on WeChat? Can you give me her contact? That social butterfly widow Wang in her building looks like Fan Bingbing on social media, with her posts filled with stories of 95s, who bought luxury villas in Jing'an with cash before turning 20. Because the freshman who pretended to be cool had been made a joke by Su Yuming multiple times. I calculated the money and sent widow Wang's WeChat to Imagery with a note. I want to break up, it's quite boring. Calculate how much you owe me and transfer it via Alipay. Imagery played dead. I had anticipated this, so I went through the spending records to organize a list, printed out many ads using the printer downstairs, and posted them under the boys' dormitory the next day. The content is: male dormitory 0 yuan purchase, location dorm yuan 1235 dormitory, bed 4, Imagery's bed. The following list is available for free, 1 item per person on a first-come, First served basis. If there are any issues, contact me, Dai Xiaotian. Alien notebook. A cone. La Prairie caviar essence mask, blue bottle, can be given to a girlfriend. Qing foam tissue, the thick one, 4 layers. CK underwear, second hand, dirty, not recommended to take. After posting, I went to class, and before the class was over, Ji Jiarui's WeChat bombarded me with messages, filled with profanity, cursing me for being poor, stingy and petty. I didn't look at the rest, I just sent him a payment code 1314 with a message, want to reconcile, show some attitude. Or do you want to continue using my money to pursue my roommate? Ji Jiarui paused for a few seconds, then started frantically sending me voice messages and video calls. I could imagine his frantic expression even through the screen. Before he deleted me, he insulted me as just a country bumpkin driving a Porsche, acting all high and mighty. And told me not to regret it. I guess he is so confident, because he wants to flirt with a wealthy woman who drives a Maybach. Sure enough, not long after, Wang Widow updated a post on Weibo with a bunch of luxury photos, including a screenshot of Ji Jiarui licking her WeChat messages, with the profile picture unblurred. The caption was, "If you bloom, butterflies will come." In fact, I'm not as outstanding as he says, I'm just a bit more capable than others. 08. The boys from our class also went to the 0 yuan purchase event at the boys' dormitory, and when they came back, they teased me, saying that my breakup with Ji Jiarui was quite a big deal. It made Ji Jiarui lose face. As a little girl, I shouldn't be so petty. It wouldn't sound good if it got out. It made me both angry and laugh after hearing it. I asked him if the A-cone incense was free and if he knew who bought it. He left without saying a word. Yu Shuang disappeared for almost a month and suddenly returned 2 weeks before the finals. In that era, online public opinion had not yet become rampant, and a month was enough for a sensational topic to cool down completely. She changed her name to Yuan Xia, and even got double eyelid surgery. Apart from close friends, most passers-by had forgotten her stories. She is now on probation after being expelled from school, completely changing her previous flashy demeanor. As soon as she returned to the dormitory, she took the initiative to apologize to everyone, saying that the past was over and that they shouldn't hold grudges. From now on, we are still good sisters. She also provided the printed exam scope for everyone. The materials were obtained in advance from the teacher, and she only gave them to the 3 of us good sisters. When it was my turn, she squatted beside me and quietly took out her phone, saying, Ji Jiarui has contacted me several times, but I ignored him completely, and now he has deleted me. It's not worth it to fall out with your best sister over a lousy man. Tian, let's be good and ignore that jerk. If it were in the past, I would definitely believe that Yuan Xia was sincerely apologizing. This time, I was more cautious and said, a scumbag is indeed not worth it. I heard he's recently pursuing a rich woman on Ziro Hongshu, who is also from our school. It seems he not only dumped me, but also dumped you. Yuan Xia was taken aback for a moment and asked, from our school. Which major? It has nothing to do with me. I just want to study quietly and keep a low profile. I saw through her little thoughts at a glance, smiled, and said nothing. Later, the teacher also sent out review materials in electronic format, and we didn't print them out, because we thought it was a waste. Actually, it didn't matter whether we reviewed or not after graduation, the 3 of us all took the postgraduate entrance exam, and we hadn't forgotten much of the basic courses from our freshman year. Only Yuan Xia was smug, thinking that our dormitory had started reviewing a week earlier than others, and she played a significant role in it. During the review period, Widow Wang updated her Weibo quite frequently, occasionally posting interactions with Ji Jiarui. Until one day, she posted something sarcastic. What sister wants to get to know me? You already have that tone in your voice. In the screenshot, Yuan Xia asks her, which college is your sister from? I've wanted to invite you to dinner for a long time. Brother Jiarui has been hiding the beautiful girl, afraid that we would compete with him for her. Su Yumor quietly told me, Yuan Xia is not even in the same league as Wang Guafu. She's going to be in big trouble. 09. One night, a week before the exam, we heard several men screaming outside the dormitory building. It wasn't until the next day that I learned that last night, Ji Jiarui had a meeting with Maybach's sister and was brutally assaulted by Wang Guafu at the hotel entrance, returning in tatters with his shirt torn, and the embarrassment spread throughout the male dormitory. What's even more outrageous is that Wang Guafu, claiming to be the original partner, who was deceived for money and feelings, publicly named Yuan Xia on the complaint wall, accusing her of seducing her boyfriend and being a mistress. How could Yuan Xia dare to make another mistake now? She hired online trolls in the early morning to clear her name, blaming Ji Jiarui, saying he willingly acted as her lapdog, playing both sides, and warned her sisters to be careful not to find bad men. Public opinion overwhelmingly criticized Ji Jiarui, and later, Wang Guafu stormed into the school, almost stripping Ji Jiarui in the study room, sitting on the floor crying and demanding him to take responsibility. The scene was almost like a Hollywood blockbuster. Later, the teacher called the police to take widow Wang away, and Ji Jiarui became infamous throughout the school. It is said that his family intervened and bribed widow Wang to settle the matter. Since then, everyone completely forgot about Yuan Xia's history, and during tea breaks and meals, they discussed the love between the charming widow and the young boy, which scared Ji Jiarui's dormitory into not daring to go out. Later, he changed his major and went to the remote West Campus Software Park, and was never seen again. However, the night before the final exam, Ji Jiarui suddenly added me as a friend and sent a lot of crying emojis. After he added me, he first sent a review material for my major. This is the top secret material I managed to get. You'll need it for the exam tomorrow, so review it tonight. I glanced at the file size. It was exactly the same as what the teacher sent. He really knows how to fabricate. During this time apart, I really missed you. I like someone and don't care whether she is rich or poor. Can we talk again and get back together? I scoffed and sent him 3 payment requests. 520, 1314, 88, 88. Still the same thing. If you want to talk, show some sincerity. Ji Jiarui hesitated for a moment, clicked on the first 2 payment requests, but hesitated on the third one and was still typing. I deleted it with a swipe and posted a moment. The cash cow is really useful. After deleting it, I suddenly had the idea to download the electronic review materials sent by the teacher to compare, but the content inside shocked me greatly. The materials sent by the teacher had more than 20 pages compared to the documents printed by Yuan Xia. Was Yuan Xia doing this on purpose? I dug out the printed materials she gave herself and found that they were identical to the electronic version, but the printed version she gave us had serious missing pages. No wonder. In my previous life, she always rushed to print review materials at the end of each semester, telling us not to look at the electronic version, because the printed one was more convenient to carry. How many times have we been fooled by her? 10. It's too hard. I don't want to look at it anymore. I might as well go to bed early. Before the lights went out at 11, Yuan Xia climbed into bed in despair. After 12 o'clock, she quietly took her phone and jumped out of bed, going to the study room on the first floor to memorize her notes. Honestly, if she were just secretly studying without telling everyone, we wouldn't find it disgusting. But she always pulls these little tricks. In our past life, we never bothered her with our studies. Does she subconsciously enjoy harming those around her? She absolutely cannot be spared. On the day the exam results came out, as expected, a lot of people failed calculus, and our class's pass rate was only 40. Yuan Xia deliberately made a group voice call, sounding tearful as she said, "What should we do, everyone? This calculus exam was too difficult. I only scored 80 points, and I couldn't even get the simple questions right. I'm so stupid. You all must have scored higher than me, right?" I let out a cold laugh and sent a screenshot of my 92 points. Li Xian 90. Su Yumor 97. For such simple questions, not scoring at least 90 is indeed a problem. You shouldn't have. We studied together. Su Yumor retorted sarcastically, and Yuan Xia looked like a mute eating bitter herbs, unable to express her grievances, her mouth drooping down. In the background, Su Yuming is in the school dormitory. She is a local and specifically returned to the dormitory during the winter break. The course schedule for the next semester has come out, and our textbooks are all in the dormitory. She took all of Yuan Xia's books for the next semester and processed them a bit. She only left the odd-numbered pages for linear algebra, the even-numbered pages for probability theory, and directly threw away everything after Unit 6 of physics. In short, if you want to see the complete textbook, figure it out yourself. Don't blame us if you miss something. Yuan Xia usually doesn't pay much attention in class and relies entirely on copying homework, being the type to cram right before exams. After the winter break, she surprisingly didn't notice that the textbooks were missing for several months, until just before Qingming, when the teacher outlined the scope of the quiz, and she suddenly realized that her textbooks were missing things. And it was everything that was missing. She asked everyone in the group what the scope of the quiz actually was. I sent her a 4M PDF, and after the withdrawal time had passed, Su Yuming urgently tagged her, saying it was sent by mistake, and that she had sent an 800K exam scope instead. We sang in harmony, and the suspicious Yuan Xia definitely chose the broader exam scope. She shouldn't sleep tonight, she should memorize it. Sure enough, on the day of the quiz, Yuan Xia walked into the exam room with two panda eyes, her steps unsteady, yet she wore a big smile and looked confident. Then she saw the paper and couldn't answer a single question, crying as she was the first to submit it. When she returned to the dorm, she didn't dare to take it out on me and could only vent her anger on Su Yuming. Are you sick? You have to deceive me about the exam scope too. Do you usually trick your good friends like this? Haven't I been good enough to everyone? What more do you want from me to let me off? Su Yuming slapped her back without hesitation. Who was the first to tamper with the exam scope? You know it in your heart. Do you dare to say that the exam scope for last semester's final wasn't your doing? You didn't check the electronic version yourself, and you blame me. It's your own fault for missing a few pages. Besides, your grades are so good, what does it matter if you review a few pages less? With so much wrongdoing, be careful your whole family faces retribution. After her rebirth, Su Yuming was most worried about her parents getting into another car accident, and was very sensitive to such words. In an instant, her eyes turned red with anger as she rushed to hit Yuan Xia. In the next second, her phone rang. Her parents had been in a car accident in the city and needed her to come over. 11. Qingming, car accident, rebirth. There were too many keywords strung together, and Su Yuming was so scared that she was in tears on the way to the scene in a taxi. When she arrived at the scene, she found out that it was her parents who had hit someone else's pet dog while driving. New car, new driver, new dog. Both her parents and the pet owner were completely bewildered. Su Yuming's parents had her when they were almost 40, devoted to teaching, and were not good at handling life. The insurance company said to call someone from home who understood the situation, which is why they called Su Yuming. After everything was settled, her parents wanted to treat the four of us in the dorm to a meal. They specifically called for Yuan Xia. Why call her? Is there a holiday at 600 Wanping South Road today? Su Yuming rolled her eyes and cursed, just as Yuan Xia walked to the table and sat down, confused and not understanding. When she looked up and saw her parents, Yuan Xia was completely stunned. Su Yuming lazily explained, I forgot to tell you, they are actually my parents. Li Xian's parents couldn't come, so I asked them to play the part. The luxury car isn't from my family, we are just an ordinary family. You won't be angry, right? We're good sisters after all. Yuan Xia suddenly stood up, trembling with anger. What are you pretending to be an ordinary family for? Who's going to pay for the damaged car? I confidently said, of course, it's my friend who will pay. The car was borrowed from a rich guy, so it has to be compensated if it's damaged. You're really funny. People from ordinary families never boast about being from Shanghai. Instead, you always bring up being from Shanghai. What? Does your ID start with 310? Do you know what Wanping South Road means? I'm cursing you for being sick. In an instant, Yuan Xia's eyes turned red with hatred, wishing she could tear me apart. Do you all think I'm a fool? Yeah, who made you treat everyone as fools in your past life? Momsu rushed out to mediate, saying that it was fate for us to live under the same roof, and after much persuasion, we finally agreed to stop. I smiled and looked at Yuan Xia. Yeah, anyway, the past is the past, so why bother? You said it yourself, we will still be good sisters from now on, right, Yuan Xia? The words she used to disgust us, I returned them all. Yuan Xia, with red eyes, sulkily picked up food, feeling wronged, but unable to argue with me. After the meal, Su Yumo said she wanted to go to the nearby Jing'an temple to ask for a safety talisman. After her rebirth, she became superstitious about such things. Thinking that Yuan Xia's curse was too ominous, and that she had to ask for a talisman to break it. We also followed suit and made wishes to draw a fortune stick. When Yuan Xia returned to the dormitory, she pressed the talisman she had asked for under her pillow and slept on it tightly. Unfortunately, that night after Qingming, there were cockroaches in the dormitory. We screamed and chased them all over the room, turning everything upside down, and ended up uncovering Yuan Xia's talisman. The talisman lay on the ground, boldly written with a few words, "May Su Yumo's whole family die." Su Yuming was stunned for a few seconds, her brain short-circuited by overwhelming anger, staring blankly at Yuan Xia. Yuan Xia pretended to be calm as she picked up the talisman, tore it apart, and threw it into the trash can. I just wrote it casually, a child's joke, you wouldn't take it seriously, would you? 12. That night, Su Yuming did not personally confront Yuan Xia. Just when a fight was about to break out, the instructor called to say that Yuan Xia's mother had a heart attack during an argument and passed away. Let's stay with her until her family comes to take her to the hospital. I remember in my past life that her mother indeed had heart problems, a consequence of her efforts to have a second child to avoid fines when she was young. 1 second cursing others to death, and the next second, retribution comes so quickly. Yuan Xia looked like wilted chives, lost and dejected as she got into her uncle's car, going home to handle the funeral, and during the finals, she just showed up briefly and left. At this point, we no longer intended to hold anything against her. If she made so many mistakes in her past life and deserved retribution, then her mother's death is the heaviest punishment. From now on, everyone has their own path to follow. And she can do whatever she wants. That summer, Li Xian had a submission that went viral on a video platform, gaining over 400,000 fans, and becoming somewhat popular among the younger crowd. Then, when school started, we were surprised to find that Yuan Xia had undergone minor cosmetic surgery. Her nose, mouth, and eyes all resembled Li Xian a bit. Even the tear mole at the corner of her eye was identical. She didn't offer much of an explanation, just took out her phone and casually said, "I've started doing social media too." Subsequently, every post on her account was highly similar to Li Xian's, blatantly plagiarizing Li Xian's topics, riding on trends, and signing with a talent agency. Li Xian is very low-key in real life and is even less willing to flaunt her identity on campus, while Yuan Xia is ostentatious everywhere, often being asked for autographs in the cafeteria, feeling quite pleased with herself. We find her very disgusting. But considering her mother's situation, we really don't want to hold it against her anymore. Starting from our sophomore year, Su Yumo and I began a startup in renewable energy, and Yuan Xia was also busy copying us. Back then, what was popular were campus ambassadors and campus advisors. I heard she became a campus recommendation officer for a certain brand, using the name of a big company, and became popular again among her peers. Effortlessly become the goddess senior among the freshmen. When returning to the dormitory, she arrogantly mocked us. "What future is there in riding a broken electric bike? I see you all are just stubborn and incapable, how can you compare with me?" I sarcastically retorted, "But you don't have a mom." Su Yuming said, "But you don't have a mom." Yuan Xia's face turned green in an instant, her cheeks trembling with anger. "Don't be so smug, if you're jealous of me, just say it outright, there's no need to poke at people's sore spots." But my worth is different from yours now. Next semester, I will move out of the dormitory. I bought an apartment in the city center. From now on we have nothing to do with each other. Li Xian fiddled with the camera and suddenly said, that's not certain. In the future, in court, I will be the plaintiff for plagiarism, and you will be the defendant. Yuan Xia was taken aback for a moment, then glared at her more arrogantly. If you have the ability, go ahead and sue. Take down my entire agency, go against capital, and be careful not to leave a trace behind. After saying that, she slammed the door and left. That day I happened to run into the class monitor, who had previously received an A grade and later treated me well. He pulled me aside and asked, why is it that only Yuan Xia from your dormitory applied for the exchange student program? All of your GPAs are better than hers. Are you really not considering it anymore? It seems there was such a thing. But the application deadline was very late. Has it already ended? What is Yuan Xia up to this time with her old traditions? 13. A majority of the majors have partnerships with foreign institutions for study abroad programs. The exchange student application for the junior year has a tight deadline, and the teacher notified the class monitor overnight. Yuan Xia took the initiative to ask the class monitor for the paper documents, saying she would inquire with all the girls. She told everyone that the deadline was next month, but in reality, it was only 3 days away. In the end, only Yuan Xia signed up. What a pity, don't you girls want to be exchange students? Yuan Xia's materials are unlikely to be accepted. Her GPA is too poor. Although it's not a prestigious school, I couldn't stand Yuan Xia's antics, so I set her up during the class meeting. During the class meeting, the teacher invited Yuan Xia to share her experience as a campus ambassador. Believing her performance over the past year was outstanding. After she finished boasting, I smiled and went up to the podium to announce some good news. Regarding the exchange student matter, the application deadline was moved up. The class monitor was worried we wouldn't make it, so she submitted all the girls' information from our class for review in advance, and more than half of them got approved. The classroom fell silent for a second, then instantly erupted with discussions, some happy, some frowning. Everyone heard it right, he acted first and reported later. But it's okay, you can give up the application if you don't want to go. Yuan Xia's expression changed. Taking advantage of the chaos, Suyuman quietly switched Yuan Xia's projection back to the main screen. The main screen displayed WeChat. Yuan Xia anxiously sent a WeChat message to the class monitor from the stage. What's going on? I only wrote one name on the registration form I gave you. How come everyone is registered? The big screen live streamed this message. Gradually, everyone stared at the screen in silence. Yuan Xia asked again, did you submit it wrong? They all didn't register, only I did. A girl from the neighboring dorm stood up. What do you mean, Yuan Xia? Yuan Xia was initially confused, but when she saw the big screen behind her, she felt as if struck by lightning, frozen in place. Cold sweat suddenly broke out. I coldly said from the side, what everyone sees is the truth. Yuan Xia asked for the paper documents, but told everyone that the deadline was a month away, when in fact the registration closed in 3 days. She only registered for herself. This isn't illegal, after all, she has no obligation to tell everyone. But why is it so disgusting? Yuan Xia slammed her laptop shut with a bang and said defiantly, if you want to be an exchange student, figure it out yourself. There's only one spot. And we're all in competition. Why should I be your babysitter? Immediately, a girl from the dorm packed her bag and left, cursing her harshly before she left, low quality. Gradually, all the girls in the class left, and none of them had a good expression towards Yuan Xia. The class monitor felt embarrassed and called a group of guys to leave. In the end, the classroom was empty, leaving only a few of us who were watching the joke. Before long, a chain message appeared in the class group, initiated by the class monitor. Yuan Xia is under school observation, her student status has been revoked, and there are issues with her integrity. Should she be kept in the class group? In less than half an hour, everyone filled in no for the chain message, while Yuan Xia was still being arrogant and making threats. The next second, she was kicked out of the class group, as she moved out of the dormitory to focus on her career. We rarely saw her on campus. Later one day, someone saw Yuan Xia outside a shared rental house near the school. She boasted about moving to an apartment in the city center, but in reality, she rented a shared house outside the school with her boyfriend. Upon closer inspection of the photo, I found out that her cohabiting boyfriend is Groa. Interesting. 14. Li Xian spent her entire sophomore year fighting against plagiarism in the early days of social media, when capital had not yet deeply penetrated. She firmly believed she could reclaim justice. By the time they reached junior year, a certain online credit service entered the campus, sparking a trend among young people to engage in finance. However, the popularity of that online credit service was quickly replaced by advertisements for another financial product. I took a closer look at the flyer. It was a P2P platform. Among the investors was Groa. Not long after, the spokesperson appeared. Yuan Xia. Someone saw Yuan Xia flaunting her newly acquired BMW at the school gate, looking very pleased with herself. I comforted them, saying not to envy her. She wouldn't be able to bounce around for long. Some people, if you don't pay attention to them, will just self-destruct. As graduation approached, Li Xian's plagiarism case started to gain traction, and the agency behind Yuan Xia collapsed. She suddenly lost her support and truly became a defendant. Don't forget, she is still under school observation. If she makes another mistake before graduation, all 4 years will be wasted without a diploma. So, Yuan Xia ran back to the dormitory late at night, crying and begging Li Xian to withdraw the lawsuit, deleting her account on the platform overnight, and disbanding her fan group. Li Xian was resolute and refused to forgive her. When the court's verdict came out, Yuan Xia lost the case, and the school, fearing public opinion, expelled her, completely ruining her chances of graduating. Li Xian didn't want compensation, she just wanted Yuan Xia to donate all the money she earned from social media over the past 2 years, and to apologize publicly across the internet. Yuan Xia had no choice but to comply. After sending the apology message, she immediately disappeared without a trace, leaving only a WeChat message for us. Don't be arrogant. The money from self-media isn't even enough for me to buy a car. Do you really think I care? What's so great about a degree from a university? I can easily buy a master's or a doctoral degree. What's wrong with having money? Goodbye, you bunch of country bumpkins. Don't contact me again. Back then, the wealthy person who scratched the Maybach met Yuan Xia and took a photo of me while shopping in Hong Kong, saying he happened to see Yuan Xia attending a preparatory class, estimating that she would be studying for a master's degree in Hong Kong the following year. That year was 2018. The following year was 2019. Studying in Hong Kong. Yuan Xia's money wasn't clean either. With the P2P platform collapsing, several financial chairmen were arrested, and I heard that Groa also got caught. Then I remembered that in my previous life, during my senior year, he was frantically urging me to invest in a startup project, which was the P2P platform. Fortunately, I was focused on my studies at that time and deleted him later. He didn't succeed either. In my previous life, Yuan Xia didn't plagiarize Li Xian, and didn't pursue a career in self-media, so she had no value to Groa, and avoided a disaster. This time, 2 foolish and wicked people came together, and finally reaped what they sowed. I heard that Yuan Xia didn't end up pursuing her master's degree. And there has been no news since 2019. In the 4th year after graduation, I had a small gathering with Su Yuming and Li Xian, and everyone was doing quite well. Li Xian is about to become a million-follower UP master. She may not be at the top, but her career is finally on the right track. Su Yuming's parents are alive and in very good health. They are already discussing how to spend their retirement life.